This is the Simpit. I'm your host, Shaun Cole, but the real star of today's show is we're bringing back Attack the Track. We're doing an edition of Attack the Track Skip Barber at Road America, but it is now, from now on, going to be a live version of Attack the Track versus in the past. It had always been done as an edited piece, but we're going to go through the same process. We're just going to do it live. So you'll see this is just me turning great laps. Not great laps, I didn't mean that by any means. Turning my best laps, hopefully, and then being able to break them down for the good, the bad, and the ugly, or the good, the not so good, and the bottom line on my laps. We'll go ahead and, in the Skip Barber, excuse me, I have spit coming out of my mouth. In the Skip Barber, one challenge, one thing we're going to cover in this version of Attack the Track is that the tires are very cold, and on cold tires, this car is nasty, and you cannot push it. You actually have to drive differently than you do once you get temperature into your tires. So when you're doing something like an Attack the Track, we could wait 5-6 laps and then just take a perfect lap and go, look at that. Or we can go through the whole process and I can explain to you, because, you know, what I'm not trying to say here is I am not one of the fastest at Road America. In fact, in the practice room I'm in with the Simpit guys, I'm only going to be like third, fourth, fifth fastest. So you'll see there are plenty of people faster than me, but I will be able to show you what I'm doing. And if this is a car that you race with, and some people even struggle with the Skip Barber car, you'll be able to see, and I'll tell you what I'm doing to get through certain places here at Road America. Now, what's really unfortunate is I am bringing this back, and in between the amount of time this morning when I kind of came up with the idea, thanks to a lot of advice from my friends in the Simpit patron pit crew teammates, but we thought about bringing this back, and then sure enough, iRacing cancels the Skip Barber season for the rest of the season, which is 3-4 more weeks. So we 4 more weeks for them, 3 more for us. We are going to run it, even though there being a disclaimer telling you not to run hosted sessions in the Skip Barber, but what do you know, here we are. So we are going to get things going and underway at this point, and yeah, I'm going to show you on cold tires what I'm doing. Setup, I mean, I'm using a setup, but I'm going to tell you right now, there's not a lot you can do to the Skip Barber as far as setup goes. It's just a matter of air pressure and how high or low you want the front end of your car. And to be honest with you, that high or low in the front makes a difference, but not a huge difference. Biggest difference is handling the curb. So I will tell you, I'm running a little bit of a higher, I've raised the front end more than you'd think. I'm not dropping it down to the ground. You don't get a lot of speed that way in this car anyway. And I'll tell you the tire pressure. I have no problem telling you. We're running 25 pounds all the way around, and I'm at 5 by 1/16 spring perch. So I mean, that's all you can do to the car. Not a lot. That's not a factor. I've tried 3 different setups that I have with slight variations in those numbers, and the differences are very, very slight. So setup is not why you're winning or losing in the Skip Barber. Handling the car is why you're winning or losing races in the Skip Barber. So here we go. Let's get underway. Keep in mind, we're on cold tires, so as much as we want to push, we cannot. One thing I've learned about the Skip Barber car is that on cold tires, it does a pretty decent job of straight line. Oh, I forgot there are people out there. I just cut off Tim Chitwood. Sorry, Tim. It brakes fairly well in a straight line, but not so much when trail braking on cold tires. Here we are through turn 2, third gear. We're gonna get around Tim Chitwood here. Little draft slingshot up to 4th gear. Want to rev the skippy out as much as you can. And this next corner is gonna be a real challenge under braking on cold tires. So we're gonna have to take it extra careful. We're gonna leave a little extra room. I'm gonna brake a little bit early. Try to carry a little speed to apex. And you want to, you know, you always want to use as much track as you possibly can in sim racing. That's one of the very important thing to do. However, it is even more important here, it seems, than other, well, that's when you got to be careful with. Even more important here at Road America to get the most out of the track, you really sometimes have to use every inch they give you. Down a little past the 2 marker, some braking down to 2nd gear. We're still on cold tires, got to be careful. Now, on cold tires, this carousel section, this long, kind of downhill right-hander is treacherous. You got to feather the throttle On hot tires, you will be able to go through here full throttle and actually fight understeer, versus on cold tires right there with the feathering, I was fighting oversteer. Then we got this kink. I'm going to bleed the throttle just a little bit because we're on cold tires. You don't want to overturn or it'll send the rear end moving. Just got to give it up in that first. We're on not even on a timed lap yet. We're on our out lap. Long way around here at Road America. Just before that 2 marker. And you want to use a lot of curbing. You can almost cut on the inside. Use that outer runoff area. Use the curbing on the outside. Use the curbing on the inside. You want to use, that's why we raise the nose here at Road America. We want to use all the curbing we can, and almost, I dare say, cut at times like that. See how much curbing we're using? Using all the outside runoff room as well. And this is how we launch down the uphill straightaway for our first time lap. If you see our relative right now, we're plus 6 seconds. That relative involved hot tires, low fuel, and in the draft all simultaneous. We're not going to get anywhere near that number. We got a car coming off track. We're going to brake right before that 1 marker. Just drop 1 gear. 4th gear will hold you through this turn 1, using up that runway, that off track to the outside, and down to right before the 1. Drop 1 gear for turn 2. Use this curbing. Get on the gas early because it's a long straightaway past the Sargento Bridge up to 4th gear. Rev this car out as much as you can. So we're still on lap 1. Lap 1 is still cold tires. We still have to be careful. You don't want to mess up. If this is a race, you still don't have the braking and the turn-in that you're expecting. Brake a little early. Get down to apex, and we missed it. We missed it by a country mile. We got on the gas too soon and pushed wide. You don't want to do that. Brake here right at that bridge. Down to 2nd gear, using the curbing here. We can use a little runoff, but you don't want to use too much or it will get loose. Gotta cut this corner a little bit. It's gonna help us turn the car a little bit. All the way to the trim line of the grass. Just past the 2 marker on the brake. There is a little stripe on the ground, but I cannot see that at speed until after I've pressed the brakes. But that is the target I'm actually using. Now, we can be a little more aggressive. I'm still bleeding that gas, Don't want to screw it up because I don't want to crash and have to go get cold tires. And if it was a race, we can't afford a crash anyway. Into that kink, we're going to bleed the throttle, get over to that curbing, and there where you can see the oversteer. You can see that reaction of the wheel from the oversteer through this straightaway into this hard braking zone. This one you got to watch out about going too far to the left and getting into the grass. It's easy to do. Just before the 2, let's cut that curbing. Look at how much we can cut. Back on the gas early. I got a little too early on the gas. I got aggressive and pushed wide. Use this curbing. Full throttle now with these tires. We're starting to get a little temperature in the tires. Just a little check of the brake. Down a gear. Oh, I kicked it out too much. That's still a little bit. That's easy to do in this car if you over brake at the moment of turn in. Alright, so coming to the line, you can see this time by. It's going to be our first time lap, believe it or not. Long way around here at Road America. Plus 4.5. You can see we don't even have our carrying. That's not good speed off the final corner. Already 2/10 down to a best lap. Just before the 1, just a touch of brake, keep it smooth. You can get back on the gas once you've hit apex. Beautiful, beautiful. Holding 4th gear right before the 1 marker. We're going to brake a little bit down to 3rd. Let the car roll nicely and get on the gas early. There you go. Use that runoff. We got a little hint of green on the exit there. You can see that was a pretty decent run off the corner. We're just missing the light fuel. We're missing the draft. Hey, Gary RGB, how you doing? All right, now we can start pushing it a little more. This is our 3rd lap and 2nd time braking right at about 1.5. If there would have been a 1.5 marker, that's a little early and safe, and I got on the gas too early. I ruined a good apex moment. Just a touch of the brake right there under the bridge. Get to apex, patience, get on the gas. Not too much runoff. It's one of the only places you don't want to use too much runoff. Clip this apex. Use the runoff just to keep the car nice and calm. braking just a blink after that 2 marker down to 2nd gear. You can cut it there, but it'll get loose on you. You can see we didn't even get an off track for that. Now we can start thinking about pushing it more into the carousel. It's still getting a little loose. I'm going to breathe a little, bring on the gas gently so we don't induce too much oversteer, and not bad for a 3rd lap. Same thing on the kink. We can start thinking about going full throttle even through here. Yep. Oh, just a little much, so be careful, but next time by we should be able to do better. It's always going to be scary though. Now again, watch that outside. Don't clip the grass on the outside just before the 2. Down to 2nd gear and haul ass out of this corner. It's such an important run out of that corner with this uphill and this light horsepower of this Skip Barber car. Use up all the track here. Full throttle all the way. Just a little blip of the, don't want to get it sideways too much, and we got to apex almost, not quite. If we were to analyze that lap, we'd see we missed it by a lot more than we wish we would have. This time we're going to so far 3.7 off, coming off that final corner. And crossing the line with a 1:36.242. We're going to have to do better than that, people. Already 0.2 off with that bad run off the final corner. Little bit of brake right before that 1 cone. Get to apex and go, go, go. 0.4 off. 0.4 off right there. Holding 4th. You almost could downshift to 3rd in that turn 1, by the way, but I don't. I find that if I hit it right, 3rd actually slows me down. You can carry more speed than you think there. Not a bad run off of turn 2 into this long straightaway. I don't really count those little corners, so this to me is turn 3 coming up. I guess this is a turn, but whatever. Just past that 2, 1, 2, 3 gears, and patience. I'll tell you what I did wrong there. I gave up on my braking. I thought I was too conservative, and I just didn't hold that pedal down long enough into that inner apex. Up to 3rd, full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Just muscle the car around that corner. Down the hill, just past the 2, 1 gear, 2nd gear. We got a little sideways, catching the car with the throttle at times when the tires get heated. And this time, can we go full throttle? We're going full throttle. Oh, wrong line. I had to bleed it. I just pitched it a little too early, a little too tight on entry, and couldn't pull it off. We'll get it next time. Same thing here. We're going to go full throttle through the kink this time. 5th gear. Get it to the inside. A little curving. No problem whatsoever. Oh. And just before the 2. 1, 2. Missed the apex by a mile. Oh no, that's terrible. Even got an off track there. We're gonna have to do better, you guys. Gonna have to do better. Get that internal, you can get that inner apex, no problem. We're curving, little brake, downshift, and go, 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 go. Come on. Such an important corner. The minute you get to apex, if you do it right, you should be able to get full throttle, basically. Maybe even before apex. And that time by, I don't think it's any better. 3.5996. So you can see we're building up speed each lap as our tires get more temperature. All right, just down to 4th. Get to apex and go. Much better, but we got a little too early on the gas and pushed wide. We had a good entry and then we blew it. You can see how much curbing I'm using, but I am getting on the gas. I'm getting greedy, I call it. When you get on that gas pedal too hard or too early before apex, it's getting greedy. You're like, man, I got this. I'm just gonna really, really yank on that wheel and slam that gas down. But if you don't get the steering, you just push a little wide. Just past the 2, we're gonna brake a little harder this time and not make that mistake. Get to apex, patient on the gas, and go. Not bad, not great. Used all that runoff room. Little check of the brake down to second. I turned the wheel a little early, but we're okay. We're okay. And now full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Do not back down. Hold that throttle down. There we go, just past the number 2 marker. I didn't need that downshift. Upshift. I threw in an extra one. Didn't need that. Could have held 4th. All right, let's take a better entry and never lift. Never lift. Oh, I tightened it a little bit. We're going to get a little understeer. There it is. Little understeer. We're okay. Understeer's almost easier than oversteer. You just got to believe in the car. We did it. Never lifted. Same thing on the kink. We're not lifting. We're going to be smooth, 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 smooth. There we go. You saw a little flick of the wheel as the oversteer. I just needed to flick the wheel a bit, and it saved the car just fine. Braking at the 2, right before the 2. 1, 2 gears. Cut that corner. Just don't get on the gas as early as I did. I keep making that same mistake over and over again, you guys. Use that outer. Come into the inner curbing. Plenty of room to go full throttle through that ass. Check of the brake. Downshift. Apex and go. Go, go. Not bad. Still all in the red through that whole lap. We're not going to expect to see much green. I'd just like to see a kick of green at times. Coming in 320 off with a 235.6. Gained another 3/10. You're going to see it just keeps getting faster and faster. Oh, little sideways. That's not good. Oh, I'm not driving very well right now. We're driving okay. That was a good corner there. That was one. You can see we even got a little bit of green zone. Hey, John Hill. Thank you, bud. All right. Up to 5th gear. You can see Jesse Conroy was running in 4th right ahead of us. 3.9. We're going to try to run him down a little bit. Just past the 2 marker. Hard on the brake. Hard on the brake this time. Get to apex. Be patient and go. You cannot go too early on the gas on that corner or you will go wide. Not bad. Touch the brake. Late on entry. Missed the apex by a full car width. Full throttle here, you guys. Full throttle. Clip the inner apex. Let it kick. Be light on your fingertips when you're on that wheel right there. Didn't need that upshift. That was a blown shift. Did it twice in a row. Let's get our head in the game, Cole. Good amount of runoff room there. That's perfect. Out here in the middle of the track, you can come a little inside. No lift. Come on. No lift. Understeer. Just be gentle fingertip driving. We're going to clear our windshield off. There you go, Tim Chitwood. That was for you. Up to 5th. Through the kink. Gentle fingertips. Come on. You can feel what the car is doing. Fingertips. Still holding 5th. Braking it at about 2.25 on the markers. 2.25 mark. 1, 2 gears. Cut. Back on the gas. I just a little early, but I got out and then back on. That wasn't terrible. Full throttle up to 4th. Full throttle. Just turning the wheel. You can feel it kicking a little bit again. 4th gear. Downshift once to 3rd. Let's get that apex and go. Gentle and then squeeze that gas. Not a bad run. Not a bad run off the corner. Not a much faster lap. We got to find more speed, guys. Alright, let's find more speed. It's a combination of carrying more corner speed mid-corner. So getting that braking right and releasing it right, letting that car roll. So let's be patient. A little bit of brake, downshift. Not enough brake. I didn't do enough brake. Come on. That's exactly wrong. Exactly wrong, I say. Heavy but light on the brake. Get to apex a little too much, but still no. Yeah, we did get an off track, but that was better than missing by a car width for sure. Terrible lap already. We've only gained 1/10 on Mr. Conroy up ahead, but that last lap was not an improvement, which means we made some mistakes in that lap, to be honest with you. It should still be getting faster. Probably a little bit early on turn-in, a little bit early on gas. We're still making mistakes. We are trying to attack the track, but we are just mediocre on it right now. Not bad through that. That corner and me do not get along, I have to say. The Corvette bridge corner, I had to bleep the throttle because talking does take... I wonder what the actual cost of talking narration is. So what's happening now is my car is starting to brake better. And you're going to see that I'll start getting a little early turn-in for apexes at times because of that. Because the braking will be so efficient that the turn-in will actually end up being under speed. And that's where you're starting to leave a little on the table in the skippy as it gets warmed up. So let's try to be aware. Let's try to just get 10 more feet. It's not a lot. It's like 10 more feet out of your braking. Or releasing the pedal that much sooner and letting it roll. And then get on the gas like that. That was so much better than we'd done. We could even get more out of it than that. Working from there is a really good spot. Full throttle, full throttle. Same thing here. Don't over brake this corner. Brake, let the car settle, downshift, and go. If you're patient enough, you're going to be able to just slam on the gas pedal. Jesse Conroy's now pulling away from us because we're making mistakes. So hard to get up that hill fast without a draft, and my best lap, we're not going to be anywhere near that. So 2:35.524 that time by, and that puts us back on pace for improvement. Let's get a little more braking here right before the one cone. Brake, downshift, apex, go. That was a conservative, proper driving line right there. Brake, downshift, go. George Sandman's the fast guy in the room, so we are complete. We are amongst the aliens here. We're on a better lap. All right, just past the 2, using up all the right-hand driving side. 1, 2, 3, turn and go. A little early, we survived it. Up to 3rd, little scrub of speed, turn in and go. And 2nd gear, went into the danger zone on the outer curbing, but we're okay. Kiss this inner curbing, full throttle, go, 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 go. Holding 4, running out 4th gear, just past the 2 mark. 1, 2, much better into that corner than last time by. Up to 3rd, full throttle, into 4th. We're getting a little front end washout, little front end, but if you just be patient, don't be afraid, you can just let it settle in perfectly. Look at that. Gentle, but turn, gentle, there we go, perfect. Jesse's still pulling away, look at him go, look at him go. Greedy. Damn it, Cole. We were having a good lap. We were having a good lap, I have to say. I had to get on the gas early because I hit apex early. It was just like almost throwing gas to not go all the way into the infield. Another mistake, but we are going to be a little teeny bit quicker on this lap. Should be at 35.4. 35.3. Alright. Let's do better. Let's do better. 3/10 off already, though. Oh, sideways. That's okay. You can steer through sideways sometimes. Running out 4th gear. A little sideways is okay once again. Much better run off. That's my best one yet off of turn 2. under the Sargento Bridge. Coming down the hill just past the 2. 1, 2, 3 gears to second. Apex and go. Oh. Just a little too much track there, you guys. We're going to do the next lap in silence. So this one, again, go in that entry point in the middle. Just don't be afraid. You're going to feel it wash out. You're going to be like, what's it doing? I don't know. It's like over and understeer at the same time. What do I do? Just be patient. Trust the car. Just steer through it. Same thing here. You're like, no, it won't do it. It wants to kick. Just counter steer. You're okay. Hi, Max. What's up, buddy? All right, we're not worried about this lap time. We are setting up the next lap where we are going to be silent. Just remember, I'm not cutting the curbs enough. Like, that was too much. That was a bad driving line right there. But I got to be using that kind of curbing at times on this track. Yes, I'm getting to what you would visually say is apex. I'm not getting to what you can get away with here, though. Oh, all right. That was not a terrible last corner, believe it or not. Four, 5, same as last time, so no real better. Oh, I cooked it. All right, we'll look at that last lap and analyze. That was my best lap so far, 34.558. Now what I want to do is, I actually want to turn off some stuff over here so we can see a little more. So what I want to do is actually turn off our TV camera. Where's my mouse? Let's turn off the shot of me from over here. And let's watch that lap on the overhead camera. Roar! David, bring on the pain. That's right. Threshold braking is more important, Tim. Trail braking is just where you find a little more speed, to be honest with you. So let's see, lap 12 was a 34.585 and 5.58. So yeah, so lap 13. Okay. Let's watch this from the overhead. Oh. Okay. Let me put this back over here. Let's talk about this. So, coming down the front stretch, up to 5th gear, obviously. Alright, looking at these braking cones. For anybody new to this, you know, again, we're always looking for the visuals. What are we using to acknowledge where we want to use for, you know, hopefully you find something that's a braking zone, a turn-in point, and all that. In a lot of cases, I think on a track, you end up with a good braking zone, and then timing ends up indicating your turn-in point more than anything else. So let's go ahead and see what I've done here. Yeah, we're going to look for those little mistakes, exactly, because that's what we're trying to do, all of us. So I'm on the brakes. In my opinion, I'm on the brakes at about 1 1/4. So if we were to say here, when I say 1 1/4 between cones, so if this is 1, and even though they have 3, I look at this as being 1, 2. So halfway would be right here, and 1/4 would be more like right there. 1 1/4 is my braking point. So what I'm going to do is look at my speed, my miles per hour. Can you guys see that? It's covered up by things a little bit, but we're at 118, 118, 118, 118. Brakes are on a couple of frames ago. So my braking point was right here, all right? I would call that like more like 1 1/2. Yep, just maybe a little bit later than that. Now the car, when you get the thing warmed up, I will say the Skippy drives sideways nicely. I heard David Clymer talking about it right before we went on the air here, about how it's one of the only cars that you'll be sideways and you'll actually ask for more throttle to catch the car. So don't be afraid of getting a little bit of sideways entry. That's totally normal, and as long as you control it and don't overdo it like we did on that final lap, it's totally drivable and actually rather fast. So we're going to get some braking. Now, what I want to watch, threshold braking. We talked about threshold. We're still real strong on the brake. I want to bring down my groups real quick. Hold on, you guys. I just want to make it so you can see what I'm seeing. We can leave up the subgroup. All right, so look at how hard our braking is here. We're at about 60% braking. And you can see I use a little bit of maintenance throttle, I call it. The Skippy, like I said, it likes to go backward. It likes to rear enter. And sometimes that gas on during braking will help. That's too much, though. That green sliver of gas there, that should be about 1/3 of what it is there. But all right, let's continue on. You can see I'm reducing the gas still. So that might have been just a little lazy. Now I'm already bringing on the gas. That's kind of messy right there. I'd love to see that throttle being more like 10%. Like right there is a good amount of maintenance throttle. Still braking, but you can see we're down to about 48% braking. Dropping our braking pressure, dropping our braking pressure, dropping. Our brake is now off. And you can see we're already at about 20% throttle. All right. Let's keep going through the corner. You can see we're a little sideways. We're still pretty smooth, this steering wheel, turning it in. And now we're already looking. Now this could be a case of Shaun greedy. When I say greed, I'm like, you know what? picking up that gas. I see that my car's rotated enough. I'm sliding, so it's not a straight line like it looks like on the car. It's still going to push a little bit outward. So let's stay with it. We're coming for apex. Now I'm already at 3/4 throttle, you guys. Car's still rotating on me. We are going to kiss this apex. Look at this. This is exactly what you want right here, I got to say. Right here, you can't ask for much more. We're at 90% throttle. The car's rotated enough, hopefully, to make the corner. We need to still slide a little bit more left. You can see we're a little potentially actually going to get into the grass. But we're still sliding. The curb's kicking us off of it a little bit. This car's still rotating. Just doing a little feathering of the throttle right there. Still a lot of steering input. We are still at this much wheel input right there. That's like, what, I don't know my degrees that well. But let's stay with it. And we're going to come use up all that outer. We're full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. Out to that grass, just a little too wide. And that right there is a result. I'm going to show you why that happened right there. Everything was beautiful about that corner. That comes back to this moment right here, though. Right here. We still have no throttle whatsoever. So if we were to, here's where we're picking up the gas. If this patience right here could have waited 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Look at that. I'm already at 80, 90% right there. If this could have been that bring in the throttle at that pace moment, I think we would have made that corner. But because we got on the gas just a little too early, a little greedy, we didn't. We didn't get quite enough rotation. And the end result being just running a little bit wide off. Now, you can get away with this in the Skippy, but that was a 1x and a loss of speed in terms of perfection. All right, heading down into 2. I say that I brake at the 1.25 marker here. So what do we really do? Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. And there's that 1 marker on our left. And there's my first brake. I think I said 1/4. I think that looks like about 1.25. All right. Hard braking, straight line braking. There's our threshold, straight line braking. Now we're going to start seeing a reduction of braking. Maintenance throttle. A little too strong on the maintenance throttle as usual. Brakes off. And now we're starting to kind of set things up to get on the gas. That looks good to me. That looks good. Do we get the rotation we need? We're sliding again, just like turn 1. Using that runoff. Coming all the way to the outside. And I believe we are clean. That might have just been lazy. That might have picked up a 1x for no reason other than being lazy and not demanding that we keep the car on the track, to be honest with you. So, all right, we're going to excuse that one. Not bad. And one thing I didn't see, I believe we did make apex, right? Let's check our apex factor. Yep, look at that. Look at this moment of apex. Like I say, you want to use a lot of curbing here at Road America. We are getting darn close to, we're definitely on the curb and getting close to being on the grass. That's great. All right. And now we're flying up this, up into, that would have probably been our shift up into 4th. 5th. And up and over the hill. So on this one, I say I've been braking just past the 2 marker. Let's call it the 1.75. And you do have to watch out because you have this little bit of left-hander, but you want to get as wide as you can on the corner, obviously. So here's the 2 marker. When do we actually hit the brakes? What do we think we're doing versus what are we really doing? There's the 2. Are we going to pass it? Oh, no, we didn't. Chicken. That's Shaun Cole being a chicken. So we definitely got to Try to get a little more. I know we can get actually almost all the way down to here. This is one of those corners that's tricky, though, because if you do make a mistake under braking and you get any lockup at all, you are going to miss the corner. You're going to go flying wide. It's one of those corners it's worth making sure you brake early, and if you feel you've done efficient braking, just go ahead and let the car roll and get to apex and then get out of that corner. It's a sharp, short corner. So, all right. So threshold braking, here we go. We're up there at about 75%. Hard braking, already coming off the brake on a lot of that gas again. So my analysis of me is I'm really holding that gas pedal on a lot. Again, I'm going to keep talking about maintenance throttle, but what I'm doing is being lazy with my maintenance throttle. That's causing a little bit of that extra kick out on entry as well. Excuse me. That's something we're actually going to have to work on. Hard braking, better maintenance throttle, kind of a little all over with it. Hard braking, and we're starting to reduce braking. There you go. And that was a downshift brake, a little brake check. And now we're definitely reducing braking. Reduce. Picking up the gas a little too early. Picking it up again. Afraid, and there we go. Can we hold it? We made apex. Let's go back and check our apex moment. Yeah, definitely. Look at that. We're all the way up onto the grass. That's, you know what? That's almost what you got to do. You saw that little too much, though. So I actually got just a hair too much to the apex. So watch the way it disrupts the car. There's just that little extra wiggle off of this moment here. So we could clean that up and not hit. Now what happened is we got our braking done a little early. So again, on the brakes, turn in, sliding it on the gas. Nice rotation. Car's squared up to leave the corner. Now this corner here, Chevrolet Corvette bridge, is one that I've had a lot of trouble with. You're cresting a hill, so if you push it too far, you get into the danger zone very quickly and easily. And at the same time, if you brake early, then you have to be very patient for the corner. So I'm pretty sure I brake before the crest, right at the bridge or right before the bridge. So let's see what's going on here. We're at full throttle, 81 miles an hour, and we are on the brakes. Brakes are coming on. You can see it's not much brake though. Look, we're at 1/3, we're at 50%. It was a slow application of brakes, up to 65, 70%, and already releasing the brake, bringing on the gas, and letting that gas help rotate. Little touch of the brake, not sure why that came in. Using that gas, kind of throttle up, throttle down, getting the car to dance. We're at 90-degree lock right there. Full throttle. Letting the wheel out. Using that curbing. You don't want to get up on that white stuff. That's great. For me, that's really well done through that corner, I have to say. All right, this next corner, the right-hander, it's full throttle. Just looking for a good angle on hitting that inside curbing, getting this car squared up. The outer curbing will upset the car, so if you come into that outer curbing at the wrong angle, it's going to get a little squirrely. But if you get square like we are here, no problem at all. Doesn't disrupt the car at all. Did we get to the apex that we wanted on mid-corner? Full throttle. Again, we're at full throttle. Just taking a line for these. We want to hit this inner curbing. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Look at this. Onto that curbing, almost to the grass. There's not a crest on this curbing like that left-hander at the bottom of the hill. So we can get all the way out to that grass. That's not a problem. And just a good line out. When I talk about being square using this outer curbing, you can see that I'm already pretty much straight for this corner by the time I get to the curbing. If you run out onto that curbing like that, not a problem. But be aware, that curbing will make your rear end light if you hit it one wheel at a time. And then, so I say I brake just after the 2 coming down. All right, Nick, I never know if this is helpful or not, and I don't do it perfectly. You know, I'm not the fastest in the world. So, now I think that I brake at just at the 2. I would call it 1.9. Let's call it 1.9, you know, between the first and second marker. So we're flying in, and now we're just before the 2, full throttle. Full throttle, full throttle. What's our braking moment? You can see a little touch of the brake. So, good setup for the car. We are, you know, a foot, maybe 10 inches from the grass. That's a good position. You don't want to cheat on that. Starting to apply the brake. That was a big jump on the brake, but it doesn't take much on this corner at the same time. So look at this big giant spike I throw at it. Boom. Already back down to 60. A little more to maintain. That might have been like an overreaction, and then me like doing my own ABS. Like, dude, you really spiked the brake. Back it off and bring it back in slowly and more controlled. So let's watch that again in slow-mo. We wanted to get past that 2 marker, but we're not. We could probably wait a little longer. I'm pretty consistently into this curbing a little too early and a little too much, because this one will upset the car. This is not one you need to overly cut. You want to just slightly cut. So we're on the brake just before that 2 marker. Hard on the brake. A little too much perhaps, so we get out. We chicken out on the brake. Down to 50%, adding a little more and bringing in that maintenance throttle that is just too much. Now, I will say in my defense, right before this drive, I happened to have lifted my pedals towards me 1 click. So that could be part of the reason why I'm doing that right now. Nick, I believe we're in 2nd gear for this corner. We'll count gears. I know I'm in 4th for the carousel. Aren't I? We're in 4th over the top of the hill. We'll count gears here in a moment. So we are 4th gear right there. I believe it's 2nd. 3, 2. All right. So this is the problem with this corner. Right here. This is like a gutter. That low, see how far to the curbing I am now? This might be because Jesse had just pulled off the track. So I was a little concerned. I wasn't sure where he'd be. But you do not want to be here. That's not good. If I had this much rotation on the car, but my car was, 2 tire widths more to the right, it would be perfect. But this is in that gutter where it's going to actually really pivot the rear end of the car, upset things, cause me to be an early apex, throw me out of the corner early. Not the best line there. 2nd gear. I made it work out for what it was for the most part, but again, not what you want to do. You want to stay off that inside. Like I say, you want to cut everywhere here at Road America, except for this corner. Don't want to get that low. And you can use more of that runoff if you need. It's a little upsetting on the car if you get in that white section. When I say use the runoff on the outside, you're on the painted part, you're great. On that white, just be a little fingertips. When I say fingertips, be light on the wheel. Quick wheel, quick wheel. All right, heading into the carousel corner. I say I use a mid-entry, and it's just full throttle. Once I turn in, I'm just kind of wiggling through. Just light on that wheel, light on that wheel, light on that wheel. I can feel it pull, and as soon as I can see out, we're good. Same thing here. We're going to shift up to 5th gear. Bam. Turn for that apex. Oh, we'd like to kiss that curbing, by the way. I'm going to go all the way back to the carousel. Not a lot to show you, though, because, again, we're full throttle. This is 3-4 laps in. 4 laps in, you're safe. 3 sometimes with a good line. This is not a great line, but I'm just muscling the car through. Taking that tight inside line, it works. The outer line will work, too, once you get the hang of it. Up to 5th. get to apex here. You want to kiss that curbing a little bit, but not too much. But you can see I never really made it to the curbing. We were close. We were close. Close, but not quite. And just get that wheel straightened out. When you get out here, whatever you do, try to get that wheel straightened out. You can see right now I'm even counter steering. My wheel is actually turning slightly left, believe it or not. So, let's watch the wheel. We're already kind of straight for the wheel if you consider where we are in the corner. That's how much action we're getting on the rear end of the car. So if you look at this moment right here, my wheel is only turned this much. And look at how much pivot's on the car, all right? We're turning it a little more, trying to catch that rear end. We're just wiggling. I call it wiggling. That rear end's dancing. Rear end's doing the dance. We're wiggling the wheel. We're full throttle. And we're just trying to find that just enough pressure to keep turning the car, but not enough pressure to rotate the rear end. The reason, because we have caster, since our front wheels are out in front of the pivot point, when we turn the wheel, it actually is pressing. So if I turn right, it loads that right front wheel more, and it puts more pressure on that left rear. When our car's starting to do that wiggle, that oversteer dance, we're getting oversteer. So we don't want to induce more oversteer with more wheel input. It's just enough to keep it turning so that we can keep the car rotated and get it coming off that corner despite being at full throttle. This is all steering. This is not gas. This is all steering being done. And again, when you get to this outer curbing here at this speed, 110, if you're going to hit it one tire at a time, left front, then right front, it's going to unsettle the car a lot more than if you get it squared up. I'm doing everything I can to get it squared up and stay on the gas. No problem. Might have got a 1X there, but that's okay. Now, this corner here, of all the corners on the track, this is the one you cut the most. You can get away with just almost what feels like cheating at times. Now, you'll find when we watch the replay, we might not actually get into the grass. I think we did. I do. Mr. Mac, I actually believe that the wiggle helps the dance. It's controlling the dance. I do believe that. So I think I brake at about 2 1/4, 2.5, 2 1/4 here. So when I say that, I mean halfway between the 3 and the 2 marker. Now, I'm going to warn you, I might leave a little extra room out on the left here. And the reason for it is because we're coming off of this left-hander, trying to set up our straight line for braking, it's really easy to leave a little extra wheel input. You can see right now I still have a little left input. And it means if you hit the brake and your car starts to go straight, it's really easy to get off track with your wheels on the left-hand side. It's not worth it. You don't need to. You can save it. So if you're being quick on the wheel with fingertips, you can save that kick you're going to get when you get off into the grass under braking. But I would recommend being careful. It's one of those spots I'll give you permission to leave a couple feet, a couple of tire widths away from being on the line. But let's see what we do. 2.5 to 2 1/4 is my thinking on my braking. What am I really doing? Here's our first. We're at 2 3/4. So I'm a little earlier than I think on the braking here, but I think I can get away with 2.5 at least. You can see how I'm still tracking left towards that grass. That's why I'm giving you a little, warning. Be careful. It's very easy to run out of track. We're at 90% braking there. Braking down. Lazy over maintenance throttle once again. That's probably killing me, you guys. That's probably causing a little bit of upset car condition. It's causing a little extra kick out on entry. And again, I'll encourage you to use a little bit less. Like that much maintenance throttle is good right there. 10%, 15%. But when I see this moment right there, I think any driving coach on earth would be like, what are you doing? Yes, left grass, Rockjaw McGraw, left grass. Look at how close we're getting. Look at how close we're getting. And if right now, under that brake pressure, I hit that grass on the left, that's going to really be difficult. So just be careful there. If you were another car, a tire width to the right, I would be okay with you being there. So hard on the brake, down to, were we running third gear here? We're going to go live full speed real quick, count gears. We're in fifth gear. Fifth, fourth, third. Oh, sloppy as can be, you guys. You don't want to do this. So what have I done wrong? What did I do wrong? Why am I there? That is cutting. I tell you to cut, but that's too much. All right. So go ahead and be half my car width. See how where the middle of my car is? Where the middle of my car is where the left tires really should be. I mean, what happened here? Why are we that sideways? I think we got our braking done a little early, so some extra efficient braking. You can see trail braking in here, so let's go back to threshold. Whoops. Straight line threshold. Whoop, went too far. Straight line threshold braking right here. Whoop. Forward. Reducing braking a little, but we're still strong on the brakes. 80%. Still in a straight line. Reducing braking now. Reduce. Nope. Still bringing it in. Assessing the entry speed. And now we are reducing braking. I can see I'm bringing in the gas too strong. That's what happened. So that right there caused my rear end to kick out on me early. Because of that throttle being at like 35%, 40 even, which is just way too early. We're not even turning the wheel yet, you guys. So that's terrible. Brought down the gas. That could, okay, so that could be downshifts, by the way. I didn't see. We can use the blue bar. Okay, I'm sorry, you guys. That wasn't me. That was an auto blip. You can see the clutch being activated by the computer and the auto blip of the throttle. All right, so that wasn't me, but I could have downshifted early. Could have caused the car to upset then. All right, now we're trail braking. We're starting to turn in for the corner. Even though we're centered, we are actually counter steered, turning left. Turning for apex. Still on the brake. Probably just a little too strong. Finally off the brake. And onto the gas. I just turned in early. That's all. So we got a 1X there. Definitely got the rotation we need. We're full on throttle, so not a problem. And as long as we make the corner, that'll work. But we got a 1X by being just that early on. And I think because of it, I got on the gas a little strong as well. Could have even picked up a second X there. All right, this next section is all full throttle. We're going to use the curbing on the right, up on the curbing, touch that curbing on the left, let it gently roll out, no problem. All right, we'll watch that one more time just to see it. We're just shifting up through the gears up to fourth, I believe. So fourth gear, boom, inside curb, letting it roll out a little bit. Now, markers are a little hard to use. You can see that 2, but I find that 2 is hard to see when I'm in this spot in the car. So at this moment, what I actually am aiming for is, if I were to consider that gray, that darker gray section as braking zones, let's just say, because that is a concrete patch, not a shadow. And let's just say that that first line is the 3 and the other one is the 2. And funny enough, it might even line up that way with the indicators. Because there is the 3. The 3 is right here. The beginning line. Looks like that goes past. I think I brake at about the 2 or about 3-4 car lengths before the end of the dark patch is my assumption. So coming into this final corner, just kind of getting wide, setting things up. You don't want to go too wide here. I see a lot of guys cheat this, and guys who can perfect their driving line, that's okay. But if you're, if there's more variance in your driving line, you don't need to use that little gray patch out there, but you'll see fast guys do it. So we're still not on the brake, by the way. Still not on the brake. Full throttle, full throttle, full throttle. And look at that, right? Almost at the 2. Almost to the 2. That's about where I thought I used the braking, by the way. And it's not a lot of brake here. So let's see what not a lot of brake is. I said that every time we came around. we get to about halfway, 60%, and already reducing. So like I said, not a lot, and dropping down to third gear. There's our shift. Reducing brake pressure still. Now we're down to like 20, 15, 10, 5, off the brake. We've turned in for the corner a little bit, and now we're coasting, believe it or not. That's good by me. I'd like to see more of this. See how this is happening right here? You see this magical moment right here? Whoop. This is what I want to see more of, you guys. I'd like to see more of this. So we have braking, braking, braking. A little bit of maintenance throttle right there. That was me, not the computer. No clutch. So braking, braking. Maintenance throttle, a little strong. There we go. We're good. There's the downshift. Maintenance throttle's off. A little more. Reduce braking, coast, 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 coast. I feel that I'm rotated enough. We're still sliding this corner a little bit, but we think we're going to get a good apex with our trajectory, bringing on the gas a little bit. And look at that, rolling it on. That wasn't a spike like we've seen in other corners. Missed the apex. We need to be another half a car length over right now, but we're okay. Full throttle, we have confidence. We're going to get things squared off before we get into this curbing, hopefully. A little bit of left tire, right tire, but we were pretty close. Going to keep pulling the wheel, and we make that corner no problem whatsoever. And up the hill, fourth gear. We're going to shift, coming up towards the line here. And that would be a 558. So let's go ahead and take a couple minutes, just let this one play out one more time from behind the car. Fifth gear. Comparison's sake, 15, 115, 16, 17, 18. Downshift one gear. On the gas, a little wide, we could do better for sure. Up to fourth gear through that corner. Oh, third gear, I mean. Now we're in third, sorry. Fourth. Fifth. We're going to set things up, get far to the right. We're going to brake near that 2 marker. 4, 3. Second gear into that apex nicely. Third gear. Down to second. On the gas. Up to third. Full throttle through here. Fourth gear. Run out fourth gear. I made a mistake of shifting to fifth a couple times. Don't need to. Brake at the 2 point. Down 1 gear. Down 2 gears. On it. Had to check up a little bit for the car ahead. Up to third. Fourth gear coming up. There it is. Full throttle. Just chasing the wiggle. Chasing the wiggle. Doing the dance. Get the car squared up for the curbing. No problem. Up to fifth. Full throttle through the kink. Wiggling it through. Doing the dance. Using a little curbing. We're okay. Setting things up. Got to get it squared before the braking so we can get our best braking. Straight line. Protective at the 2 1/4. Down 2 gears. And too much curbing. Slid the car. Full throttle up the hill. Full throttle. Up to fourth. Use the curbing. Take it out wide. Braking at 2 1/4. Just a little bit of brake. Down 1. Get to that apex. You missed it. And full throttle as early as you can for the straightaway. If you can do any corner with a late apex on the track, it's that one right there. So that is pretty much the best I can explain a lap. You can see where I made quite a few mistakes, actually. So there's a lot of room on the table for improvement where I can do better. A lot of room on the table where you could do better if you were watching what I did and kind of matched what I had done. And definitely want to do more on my end as well to improve that. I've run better, but that wasn't a terrible lap, by the way. 34.5 is pretty respectful. I can definitely get down to a 33.9 without a draft. Actually, I think I can do better than that even. But, Mr. Mac, Blueberry question. I am seeing in the display that you're braking as you're coming off the gas. So my braking, Mr. Mac, is what you just call threshold braking. So we're braking a lot more in a straight line and then reducing the braking towards apex. So if you'll watch, heavy braking and then reduced braking towards the apex. And if we watch it in slow motion, you'll see it. Now, I'm not doing a great job of it. This isn't perfect, but this is the intention of what you want. You're going to see the strongest braking in a straight line coming up here. Boom. Hard onto the brakes. We're up to like 70%. Reducing a little bit to prevent, because I went off a little bit, I might have sensed a little wheel lock up. And then we're going to start reducing the brake as we turn in. See, but now we're turning. Now the wheel is turned a little bit, or at least we made the car turn a little bit. And that's the moment that you're not going to want as strong of braking. So let's go back a lap, because that one I didn't do very well on. Let's go to here. All right, so again, we're going to come in. Heavy braking. Heavy braking. Reduced. Reducing, off. Should be coasting just a little bit more. And then bringing on the gas. I heard it really well described by a driving coach recently. You ever see one of those G meters where it shows in the Ferrari or, the Formula One where the ball is going? That ball should never be doing this. That ball should be going, under braking it goes forward, right? Forward G's. It should go up under braking, and believe it or not, it should take like a perfect curve all the way to this point where we're back on the gas. And that's a result of braking hard and then reducing it as we get to the G's being converted from forward, backward to sideways. When you think about braking, when you're back here at this moment, when you're braking in a straight line, you have both front wheels sharing the load. The rear load is a little bit less because we have a lot more weight on the front of the car. But right now our front wheels are really, really digging in. Our front wheels are sharing the load because we're square and we're going straight. And that allows us the most braking pressure because we have the most resistance we're going to get on the ground in this moment here. At the moment that we start to turn the wheel is the moment that the G-forces are starting to switch from being front to back, mostly in the front right now. All the G's are on the front. The moment we start to turn the wheel to the right, it's going to unload this wheel a little bit and put a little bit more over here. It's also going to slowly start transitioning to that back left instead of that front right as well. But we now have less resistance on the ground. We can't sustain the same kind of braking pressure when we reduce load on that inside tire. So at the point that we start to get to here, we really, really don't even have close to the same. Now maybe it's a 60-40, that left load taking 60, that front one taking 40%, but it not adding up to the same 100, if you know what I mean. So we have to reduce our pressure. And the same thing with the throttle side. When we get back to here, when we switch to gas on, when we're sideways like this, that left rear tire is holding all the weight of the car, more weight than any tire on the ground. And it isn't until we get the car straightened out and start to reduce that side G and get the car centered that we start to bring that the right rear in. So at this moment, this is all left tires. Those right tires are doing almost nothing. As the gas gets brought on, Well, we're a little sideways here. Oh, that was our final lap. We spun out, didn't we? Well, there's a result of just not respecting the moment right there. But yes, as we exit the corner, we're switching. So that weight, it goes forward. We reduce the pressure, and with that, we're introducing that side load. So the G meter goes up and it goes around. Front wheels, reducing pressure, twisting that rotational forces to the outside. Across the middle, where both left tires are doing all the load, the right tires are doing very little. And as we get to apex and bring on the gas, that ball starts to roll around because we're transitioning the weight to the rear of the car, starting with the outside, the left side, and trying to get the car straightened out, because when we do, we can get that right tire to get back in and get us more traction. And in a high horsepower car, that's even more expensive. So anyway, I hope you guys learned something. This is a different version of doing the Attack the Track versus the edited version. This is more of the live, real version. I am I'm an 80% driver. I'm no alien, but hopefully you can learn from my mistakes as much as from what I'm doing right as we break it down and really look at how things are playing out. I think the main thing I want you to take away from is when you're looking at your laps, break it down. Did you get to apex? Or did you get into the grass? Were you too early? If you're too early, maybe you can back that braking zone up a little bit. If you are having a trouble getting to apex, maybe you need to make that braking zone a little bit earlier. And yes, and Mr. Mac, that is, and that's why I call it the dance, because I feel like that's what we're constantly doing. We're dancing with our partner being the car, and it's a moving together kind of action. I can't believe I'm doing this on camera, but yeah, that's how I really feel about what we're doing out here. And I've noticed I've run us out of time even. So I guess I'm going to bring this stream to an end. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It's sort of a blast from the past, getting back to Attack the Track, but doing it in a little bit more modern of a version, and that we again did those laps live and then moved right into analysis. We also adapted through cold tires, which is really valid, because we can talk about turning a perfect lap every day, but if you don't know how to get the car to that perfect lap moment because you're going to crash on cold tires, it's not going to do you any good. Anyway, like I said, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll do more of these in the future. We have a few more series races in the Skippy for a few more weeks. After that, we'll find out whether iRacing is going to continue on with the Skippy, or bring it back, I should say, or we'll switch to another car. But if this goes over well, we'll do more of the Attack the Tracks like we did here in the future. But that's going to do it for this one. Get out there, try these techniques, or try these marks on your own. See if you're braking where you think you're braking. I kept telling you where I thought I brake, and then we looked and where I really broke. Maybe I can do a little different. I'm going to have to make improvements on that maintenance throttle being just a little too aggressive, so I have something to work on as well. And maybe when you analyze your laps, you'll find something that you can work on to get better on track as well. That's going to do it. Get out there, do some racing. This is the Simpit. I'm Shaun Cole, and I'll see you on the track.